The HOA president literally screamed that my legally purchased cabin was her son's inheritance. What she didn't know was that I had already found the 1873 territorial land grant proving not only that I owned the cabin fair and square, but that my family legally owned nearly half of Millbrook Valley, and hers had been squatting on it for decades. Picture this. I'm out front of a 150-year-old log cabin, chainsaw roaring, cutting away rotted porch boards that probably hadn't been replaced since Reconstruction, when a white Mercedes tears up my dirt road like it's responding to a bank robbery. Out storms Delilah Thornwick, 50-something, blonde highlights, designer sunglasses, face red as boiled lobster. Stop. You're destroying Bradley's birthright. I kill the chainsaw. The sudden silence hangs heavy between us, broken only by her breathing and the sweet smell of freshly cut pine drifting through the autumn air. Ma'am, I say, wiping sawdust off my hands, I bought this place legally. She laughs. Actually laughs. Some county auction doesn't erase a century of family history. Poor Delilah. She had no idea that a bundle of documents hidden in my basement foundation was about to cost her everything. 6 months earlier, my life had detonated. 20-year marriage? Gone. Suburban dream home? Sold to pay divorce lawyers who charged more per hour than I made in a day. The only thing I walked away with was my grandfather's carpentry tools and $37,000 he'd left me with a handwritten note. Build something that matters. So one night at 2 a.m., unable to sleep and drowning in cheap whiskey and regret, I started scrolling county tax lien auctions. That's when I found her. An 1873 log cabin estate on 15 acres in Millbrook Valley, population 847, where generational wealth and new money McMansions stare each other down across manicured lawns. Original chestnut logs, stone foundation, neglected but structurally beautiful. When I toured it, the musty smell of century-old timber hit me like history itself. The beams were hand-hewn, thick as my waist, craftsmanship you literally cannot buy anymore. I ran my fingers across the rough grain and felt something I hadn't in years. Possibility. Auction day was chaos. My $47,000 bid beat out some kid in a BMW who kept frantically texting, probably begging mommy for another 10 grand. Clean title. Verified paperwork. Done deal. That's when Hurricane Delilah entered my life. Day 3 of renovations. I'm replacing porch boards when a pristine white Escalade crunches up my gravel drive like it owns the place. Out steps perfection in designer jeans and manicured nails. I'm Delilah Thornwick, president of the Millbrook Estates Homeowners Association, she says sweetly. My husband owns Thornwick Construction. Ah, local royalty. This property has complications, she continues. It's always been understood this land was reserved for the Thornwick family. My son Bradley had an agreement with Mr. Henderson. What kind of agreement? A gentleman's agreement. Bradley was inheriting this property. I pull out my deed. Henderson died without heirs. That's why it went to auction. Her smile disappears instantly. That auction was premature, she says coldly. This property belongs with people who understand community standards. The way she says community standards while staring at my work boots makes my skin crawl. I bought this legally. I reply, I'm not going anywhere. She taps something into her phone. We'll see about that. Turns out she wasn't bluffing. Week 2 starts with a call from the county building department. My renovation permits had been misplaced, deleted during a routine update. I drive down there and get handed a stack of replacement forms thick enough to choke a horse. Processing time? Several weeks, the clerk says without making eye contact. 2 days later, a building inspector shows up unannounced. Unauthorized work, heritage violations, improper disposal, $2,300 fine, work stoppage order, anonymous complaint. Funny how those keep appearing. That's when I remember something my grandfather used to say. If someone's cheating you, they're probably breaking their own rules too. So I head to county archives. 3 hours of digging later, covered in ink and dust, I find the first crack in Delilah's armor. My cabin was built in 1873. Millbrook's first zoning laws were established in 1962, meaning my structure predated regulations by nearly a century. Grandfathered, untouchable, Attorney Eleanor Vasquez confirms it immediately. They can't retroactively regulate what was legal when it was built. Victory lasts about 5 minutes. Because when I get home, Delilah's Escalade is parked at my property line, and she's photographing my burn pile like she's documenting a murder scene. Wouldn't want undesirable elements affecting property values, she says with sugary smile. Undesirable, like I'm some invasive species. This property isn't part of your HOA. I remind her, everything in Millbrook Valley affects our community. She replies. That evening, she files a fire safety complaint. Week 3 brings an emergency HOA meeting I was definitely not invited to. Eleanor tells me to crash it anyway. Public notice equals public meeting. I slip into the back just as Delilah begins a PowerPoint presentation titled, Property Value Threats in Our Community. Slide 1 is my cabin, photographed from an angle that makes it look like a meth lab. This project threatens everything we built, she says. Unregulated construction, fire hazards, transient housing that attracts criminal elements. Transient housing. I stand up from the back. Since you're discussing my property, I say, maybe I should clarify a few things. That's when Eleanor walks in like she's entering a courtroom drama finale. She holds up HOA incorporation documents. My client's property was never legally included in Millbrook Estate's jurisdiction. Dead silence. Additionally, she continues, Mr. Henderson was illegally charged HOA dues for 17 years despite never being a member. The room explodes. Neighbors arguing. Questions flying. Delilah packing up her laptop like the building's on fire. Outside, she corners me. You have no idea what you're dealing with, she hisses. My family built this community. 2 bad connections can't redraw legal property lines, I reply. Next morning at 6 a.m., heavy machinery wakes me up. Thornwood Construction is repairing a water main along my property line. My water pressure drops to a trickle for 4 days. Then my suppliers start calling. Delivery issues. Insurance suspends coverage after anonymous safety complaints. Police Chief Rita Gonzalez shows up that night. I've been getting pressure to investigate your property, she says quietly. Noise violations. Environmental concerns. Suspicious activity. What kind of suspicious activity? She leans forward. Organized harassment. That night, Bradley Thornwick's BMW slowly rolls past my cabin 4 separate times while he photographs it. Subtlety clearly skipped a generation. Saturday morning, I'm in the basement repairing a sagging floor joist when my crowbar punches through what should have been solid stone. Instead, I hear a hollow echo. Behind a loose foundation block is a cavity about the size of a shoebox. Inside sits a leather-wrapped bundle that smells like oil, paper, and secrets. I carry it upstairs with shaking hands. Inside are documents that change everything. The first is an official territorial land grant dated September 15th, 1873, sealed in red wax. Granted to Ezekiel Holloway and his heirs in perpetuity, my ancestor. The land description is written in 19th century legalese, but the boundaries are unmistakable, starting from the Great Oak by the Creek Bend, extending 50 acres north to the ridgeline, including timber rights, water rights, and mineral rights. 50 acres, not the 15 I bought. 50, including most of the valley floor, where Delilah's precious development now sits. The second document is a hand-drawn survey map. According to it, the Thornwick family home is built directly on land once owned by my great-great-grandfather. They hadn't just bullied Henderson. They'd been squatting on my family's land for generations. I call Eleanor. You need to get over here now. I tell her. What did you find? The nuclear option. The crickets were loud. The wind carried the smell of pine and diesel. And something else now. Panic. Not mine. Theirs. By Thursday morning, Phase 1 of Eleanor's legal blitzkrieg had detonated quietly in the county clerk's office. A quiet title action had been filed, along with Dr. Morse's preliminary authentication report and a sworn affidavit from the surveyor confirming that the 1873 territorial land grant's boundaries overlapped nearly every parcel inside Millbrook Estates, including the Thornwick residence, including the HOA clubhouse, including the golf cart paths Bradley used to cruise around like he owned the place. At 10:17 a.m., Eleanor called me. They'd been served. I didn't even ask who. By noon, my phone looked like it had survived a DDoS attack. Missed calls from numbers I didn't recognize. 2 from the county commissioner's office. 1 from a state legislator's assistant. 3 from a law firm with a reputation for billing in 6-minute increments. And 1 voicemail from Delilah Thornwick. Her voice was tight enough to snap piano wire. Marcus, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We should sit down like reasonable adults and discuss options. Options? Right. At 2 p.m., a black SUV convoy rolled into Millbrook Valley like the opening scene of a political thriller. Not Thornwick Construction this time. State investigators. An assistant U.S. attorney. 2 agents who did not introduce themselves but had the unmistakable posture of people who could ruin your decade before lunch. Chief Gonzalez met them at my gate. Bradley was arrested at 3:12 p.m. Attempted arson, criminal trespass, conspiracy to intimidate a property owner, and animal cruelty, thanks to those theatrically arranged porch decorations. Frank Morrison followed at 4:05. Official misconduct, evidence tampering, fraudulent permitting, racketeering enhancement pending. Dean Thornwick tried to leave town around 6 p.m. He made it 12 miles. Friday's regional paper ran the headline Martha had promised Sarah Chun 1873 land grant may void Millbrook Estates development. HOA leadership under federal investigation. The article laid it out with surgical precision. 8 prior harassment cases targeting new property owners. Fast-track permits for Thornwick Construction signed exclusively by Morrison. HOA dues illegally collected from a non-member for 17 years. And the kicker, a territorial land grant that predated the county itself. By Saturday morning, real estate agents were having heart palpitations across 3 zip codes. Property values don't react well to the phrase fraudulent development built on disputed land. Delilah arrived at my cabin at 9:30 a.m. No Escalade this time. Just her in sensible flats, carrying a leather portfolio and looking like someone had explained compound interest to her, using the word negative. I'd like to negotiate, she said. I let the silence do some work. Inside, Eleanor spread out documents across my kitchen table, the same place where Dean had offered me $200,000 to vanish. Your family has occupied land granted to Ezekiel Holloway in perpetuity under territorial authority, dated September 15th, 1873. Eleanor began, voice calm and lethal. You have sold parcels, collected dues, and exercised development rights without legal title for approximately 50 years. Delilah swallowed. We didn't know. Eleanor nodded sympathetically, the way a surgeon nods before anesthesia. Wears off. That will be relevant during sentencing. We offered terms, reasonable ones, considering a settlement fund compensating displaced prior owners who've been harassed into selling below market value, immediate cessation of HOA enforcement actions outside verified jurisdiction, a structured leaseback agreement allowing current homeowners to remain on the land while proper title remediation occurred, and mineral rights, non-negotiable. Dean's construction empire had been built assuming subsurface access that now legally belonged to me. The geological consultant's report, finalized that morning, confirmed commercially viable natural gas deposits beneath the valley floor. Delilah read the numbers twice. This will bankrupt us, she whispered. Eleanor didn't blink. That would be the alternative outcome in federal court, yes. By Monday, the Thornwick legal team had countersigned. By Wednesday, escrow accounts were established for the restitution fund. By Friday, the Millbrook Estates HOA had voted, unanimously, to dissolve pending jurisdictional review. Funny how fast community standards evaporate when confronted with 150-year-old paperwork and a federal indictment. 3 months later, the cabin's porch was rebuilt using reclaimed chestnut beams milled from fallen timber on my own land. The water pressure was perfect. The permits sailed through without mysterious deletions. And the valley? Still quiet. Still green. Still technically mine. Sometimes I think about that first day. Chainsaw running, pine scent in the air, when a white Mercedes screamed up my dirt road, and a furious woman told me I was destroying her son's birthright. Turns out I was restoring mine.